I'll give you a quick rundown on what we did to it. It's a pretty cool little project I had. So basically it's just a 14-foot flat bottom V-nose John boat I got. I'll show you a picture of what it used to look like, and it's come a long way. So starting with the trailer here, just put a little jack stand on it because I might be adding some weight. It makes it easier to move. Put on a new crank rope, put on a new stop here for the front, put on a safety chain, a spare tire rack, and a new spare tire. Did a little rewiring to the trailer and put new light covers in the back. Other than that, that's pretty much all we did to the trailer. On the side, gave it a new paint job. Pretty sweet little pattern we came up with there. It's going to do a good job to hide the thing. Obviously, the first thing you're going to notice is light bars on the front, navigational beacons on the front and back. You can see the stick light back there. Painted the whole inside just a flat green because I am going to eventually put a scissor blind on this thing. So the scissor blind will come up and be all brushed in. And then we wired up the whole boat. There's the control panel right there. There's three switches. The middle one runs the navigational beacons. This one runs the interior, the LEDs. And this one runs the LEDs on the front, the LED light bars. So pretty sweet little system. Again, here is the middle switch. Turns on the red and green in the front and the rear navigational beacon. The other switch runs the LEDs on the inside. Those you can turn whatever color you want. It'll just make it nice for being able to, handle stuff down on the boat when it's dark. And then again, the final one throws on the LED light bars. And you could already see them come on during the day in my garage. So obviously they do a pretty good job of lighting stuff up. As far as the engine setup, a good engine is worth its weight in gold when it comes to a boat. So Mercury 6 horse, just a little engine, good enough to get you from point A to point B. Got a little anchor down in here. Got a cable. This allows me to lock down the engine and the trolling motor from when we park it. Another cool thing I did to the boat is I put carpet on all of the benches. That's just going to provide a little bit of insulation. I also Rhino lined the entire bottom, so it's got a really good grip, so no matter how cold and icy it gets, you won't be slipping and sliding around in the boat. So the video just watched I made about a year ago when I built this boat. Now instead of putting that video out, what I did is I got a year full of experience driving this boat all over the place. The Platte River in Nebraska, the Gunnison River in Colorado, the Snake River in Idaho. And I learned a lot of things and I made a lot of changes. I'm going to go over those real quick. The first thing you'll notice, I got rid of the outboard. It didn't get us into everywhere we needed to go. So I built the mud motor. The mud motor I got is from these guys right here. Beaver Damn Mud Runners. I have no complaints about this mud runner kit at all. The thing runs great. I put it on a 420cc engine. It's got the electric start, which is a great feature instead of having to pull on the thing all the time. Starting it super easy, and it just hooks up to the battery that I already had in the boat. So here's the startup. That's how easy it is. There you go. This is how it's hooked up right now, because that's how I trailer it. The long shaft is so long it can't hang off the end of the boat. It's got to hang in the boat. So that's just how I store it. Another thing you'll notice that I did that's a lot different, right here. This is a scissor blind. There's a couple of places that we hunted where we needed a scissor blind. This is folded down, and one thing that I noticed, which I built this scissor blind just offhand, just using my own design plan, I guess. I built the entire scissor blind so it fits inside the boat. You'll notice no part of this hangs over the rails. A lot of the places we hunt, you get crap that trees and all kinds of stuff that rubs up and down the long side of the edge. If it was hanging over the edge, it'd get ripped off. So I built the whole scissor blind so it folds down inside the boat and it doesn't take up a lot of space. As you'll see inside the boat here, well, there's a little bit of water because we just got it rain, but there's a lot of space, right? So it doesn't take up a lot of space, it doesn't hang over the edge, and it's really easy to use. I'll show you what that looks like flipped up here, but before I do that, I want to show you another thing I built. This is a dog ladder. There's a couple of times where Delta was struggling to get in the boat. We're trying to pull her up by her dog vest. I thought she's smart enough to learn how to use a ladder, so built a little ladder. This is how it works. So the back side, basically you're just making a gap out of the 2x4 in the board and it locks right in there. Line up the gap here with the edge, place this push in here, and it locks down. And then Delta, this is her area up here. This is her dog kennel. When the blind is up, Delta has her own dog compartment. She sits up in front. She's not under our feet, knocking guns over. It's not safe, right? So we set it up so Delta has her own area. Her dog ladder takes her right up into her own area. All is well, all is good. I did Rhino line it so it's a little more grippy for her to get up. I built in these little steps for her as well. That just kind of sits in the water, and I actually put a little bit of a float under here. So that's kind of, the buoyancy helps it not push down so much, but it's also locked in here. You can tell I can put a lot of weight on this thing, enough for her body weight to be able to get up it. So before I get this camo netting all folded down and make the boat disappear, I wanted to show you guys the bones and how I kind of built this thing. Like I said, it all sits inside the boat, doesn't take up a lot of space, it folds up super easy, but it also hides the entire boat very well. So I just used U-brackets I built as the hinge point. One on this side is set in further, so if you were to bring the one from that side straight across, it sits here. What that allows the thing to do is when it scissors down, it allows them to lay flush next to each other, right? So it doesn't, again, take up any space. These are put in as temporary solutions, so these pins are the hinge point. What that allows me to do is take this entire scissor blind off the boat by just pulling out 4 pins. Pretty simple, simple design there. Once you get it up, all you do is you set the size for how wide and tall you want it by this. You drill 1 hole all the way through and this pin comes in the spot. Now what you could do is you could drill a series of holes to make it lower down and wider. I have this figured out exactly how I want it. So I put 1 hole in there, didn't want to get confused. That 1 hole puts the scissor blind exactly how I want it. So when we sit and we hunt, the mud motor goes like this, it gets tilted sideways. When the stick light is in, I can actually use that stick light to trap the engine right there, right where I want it, out of the way. What that also does is it uses this mud motor, kind of uses itself like a steadying or a stabilizer for the boat. So it'll, once it's locked down with a bungee cord or a strap, it'll actually hold that boat so the boat doesn't rock back and forth as much. Did a lot of thinking go into this? Yeah, that's what happens when you spend a lot of time in a boat. But it's a pretty damn cool system, and I want other people to be able to have cool systems too. I'm not saying you have to build yours exactly like this. If you find out another cool thing or a little tweak to make this better, make sure you drop them in the comments below so I can do it as well. All right, so as far as the netting, the see-through camo netting is what goes on the sides. The reason I like that is the circles here are like loops. You can shove grass in there, you can shove sticks in there, you can do whatever you want. That just drapes over. All the old school mesh goes over the front and over the back, so that's what forms Delta's dog kennel in the front I was telling you about, and it's what hides the mud motor. Oh look, Delta came to join us, surprise, surprise. All right, this is what it looks like flipped up, okay? So that's with all the camo netting up. Like I said, everything, the old school stuff is draped over the engines in the front. And then like I said, we'd stick weeds and sticks and all kinds of stuff in those holes to kind of camo this up a little bit more. And we try to leave some stuff sticking up over the top to kind of cover that hole that's formed in the top. This is what Delta's little area looks like right here. So, like I said, she comes up into her dog blind area. You can move this over as you want. Delta's got her own little area, and overall, it grasses up pretty good. All right, let me show you what it looks like from the inside. So basically, from the inside, this is what you're looking like. The top of the blind we set at head height, so you can shoot from a seated position so you don't have to rock the boat. Or, like I said, with that stabilizing arm of the mud motor out, you can actually stand up and shoot. 1 seat, 2 seats, I'm on, and then you'll see I set up this folding chair just to show you how we fit 4 in here. So 1 person on each bench, and 1 person on each side of you with the flip-up seats. Truthfully, the flip-up seats are actually more comfortable because they have a backrest. So I've looked into putting swivel seats on the actual bench seats just for comfort when you're sitting here all day. I just don't like it because it takes up a lot of space. So like I said, that's the finished boat build. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions for how to make it better. As always, click like, click subscribe, check out the hunting videos I put out. I'll talk to you guys later.